What's up, YouTube family? How's everybody doing out there? Mom Vernon Kid here, coming to you again with my comic review. Forgive everybody for the no intro to the vid. I'm working on a new intro, uh, so look forward to that. As always, uh, shout out time. I'm gonna give this one to my friend Roland, aka Smash Hitter number 2. Uh, Very fun guy. He says he's learned a lot from me in terms of does a lot of tributes and things like that. So I appreciate sharing the love. It's always nice to help people, in my opinion. So I kind of helped out in that. So yeah, shout out goes to Smash Hitter. Got a lot of books for you to cover, dudes, and one of them, I'm gonna kick it off with one of them that I've been looking forward to since I heard it was coming out, and it's a cult classic hero that I love, and we're gonna kick it off with Dynamite, and that Dynamite comic is none other than the Shadow, the Shadow Knows. Yes, the Shadow #1. This is written by Garth Ennis. Yes, Garth Ennis, and Aaron Campbell does the artwork. Very good artwork in this. So Mr. Ennis keeps the Shadow in his element. The year 1938, and it's just classic Shadow greatness, in my opinion. Excuse me. um, we get the Shadow. We get to see the Shadow doing what he does best, and it was magic to me. First issue, very good. Uh, I wish I was down in the city to get this signed by Garth Ennis, but I wasn't. Yeah, he was in Manhattan this week, so I wish I was there. Uh, but the Shadow #1 was really good. I don't want to spoil the story because it was very much impeding. But let's just say the Shadow is looking for some individuals, and it gets a little bloody, but not too bloody. He doesn't go too much into the gore fest, but it was great. I really enjoyed it. The Shadow knows. The Shadow knows. Yes, indeed. Good stuff. So we move on to IDW and Transformers More Than Meets the Eye #4. James Robinson is still no slouch with the Autobots, and this is pretty much another adventure with Rodimus and his gang, still looking for the Knights of Cybertron as always, and they get into their adventures on the way. Um, Without spoiling too much, something happens to Ultra Magnus in this, and it's not very pretty. Let's put it like that. Uh, he's been reprogrammed by something other than himself. Let's just put it like that. All right, but it was good nonetheless. All right, so those are the only two independent books that I have. Next up is Marvel and DC. So we'll kick it off with Marvel and kick it off with the greatest superhero of all time, um, Mr. Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man #684. This is the next part to End of the Earth. Dan Slott, Roberto Ramos. So last time we left off, the Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers, along with Spidey, were defeated by the Sinister Six. Shocking? Maybe. But let's just say they had a plan in motion. And that's what they did. However, one Avenger is still around. And as you can see, Black Widow, along with Spidey. And they get aided by none other than the Silver Sable. She comes to their aid. She's decked out in new technology that her country has made. It's a stealth camo suit, and it's visible. And she gets Spidey and Black Widow out of there. She got basically she got Spider-Man out of there because she knows he's the best choice of defeating Doc Ock and everything. Like, he has experience. Uh, and they even talk about how come you didn't get one of the heavy hitters like the Hulk or Thor. And she says, you know, because you have experience. Um, but they pretty much fight the Sandman in the Sahara Desert. Actually, that's the worst place to be fighting him. And but you think it may go bad, but it actually goes pretty well for the game. One of my favorite scenes in this was where um, Spider-Man is looking at Silver Sable says she has an invisible jet, and Spider-Man says, an invisible jet. That's so. That sounds like something out of a comic book, and I thought that was so funny. I thought that was so funny, but yeah, Dan Slott still no slouch at this. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this story ends up, and you know what's the outcome of everything. But yeah, still good. Next up, Avengers number 25. Uh, this is Bendis, artwork by Walter Simonson. Um, this is actually a this actually kind of is like a story in between this story arc, this big event that's going on, because we get to see when Thor returns. We get to see Cap and them hunt down AIM and everything like that. So it's kind of like in between everything, but you know, Cap is kind of feeling it in a way of, you know, people are blaming him for what happened. You know, he's still having the outcome of what happened in last couple of with Norman Osborn, things like that. And Thor, as the good friend that he is to Captain America, he's telling him, you know, you have to basically, you know, move on, you know, accept the win where a win comes, you know, you're Captain America, you know, everything like that. But it was decent. I thought Walter Simonson's artwork was great. He still got it. But yeah, it was not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. And yeah. Avengers vs X-Men round 2. Round 2, people. The battle is going way, and we see a lot of battles start off in this. We get a battle between. We get a battle between Colossus and Hulk. We get a battle between Luke Cage and Namor underwater. We get a battle between Emma Frost and Tony. Then Tony and Magneto, Doctor Strange, and Ileana. Of course, Cap and Cyclops are still going at it. And we get a kind of an in-bit of T'Challa and his bride, his wife, Storm. There were some things in this book that really bothered me. Once again, it really bothers me what they're doing to Cyclops in this. I'm sorry, I got to put that out there. He is coming. If you think he was a douchebag any other time, they really make him a dick in this. A serious dick. You know, because in a way, what Iron Man says in this really registrates a lot of what Cyclops is trying to do. Cyclops is trying to defend his arrogance of making it look like the Avengers are the bad guys here. You know, and we got Steve down here. Yes, I understand, guys. Yes, the Avengers may have came upon Utopia and everything like that without, you know, coming on peaceful, without notifying themselves that we're coming. But Cyclops didn't have to throw the first blow. He didn't have to do that. Now, and he's just really showing how much of an ass he is in this. You know, you got some of the X-Men actually saying, like, even Stormy said, Cyclops, what are we doing? You know, things like that. And then you got a lot of the X-Men saying that Wolverine is a traitor to his own kind because he sides with the X-Men. And Wolverine says, so basically, yeah, that speaking from a bunch of who's so far up Cyclops' ass, it's funny. And he even says that. We get a lot of things in this book. Even the return of Quicksilver in this. Yes, he comes back. And Wolverine is not killing anybody. He has not unsheathed his claws. He doesn't. I'm gonna tell you right now, guys. He doesn't unsheathe his claws until the end of the book, where he looks like he is gonna kill Hope. You know, because he fears that gaining the Phoenix, she's gonna go all Dark Phoenix like Jean did, and do some damage. But yeah, it's the battle's picking up, and it ends kind of on a cliffhanger at the end of, especially for Hope, where we see where Hope is going and things like that. But it was okay. It wasn't that bad. It's just that, you know, I will not be picking up that other title that will talk about the other fights that are going on. I'm just gonna stick to the main story as well as stories that coincide with titles that I read. So Avengers Vs X-Men Round 2. Next up, the Defenders number 5. The team is down in the near Atlantis, and they find what seems to be the real McCoy of the Nautilus, as well as the remains of Captain Nemo. And we also get a little bit of an in-depth backstory of Namor as a kid growing up with his mother. And that's pretty much what this book is pretty much about. Britt Wiseman, Wister, sir, I hope I'm saying your name right. His artwork is fine in this. The main team in this really is right here on the cover. They're the really main. Iron Fist is in it, but it's really at the end of the book that really kind of picks up. Especially Iron Fist is having a dinner with Misty Knight, and something happens there, but I don't want to spoil. But yeah, it was okay. It was cool. Yeah, it's a Fraction book, but it was okay. Next up, the end of Jason Aaron's first story arc in the Incredible Hulk number 7. Wow. Man. First we've revealed who it was that separated Bruce Banner and the Hulk. Dr. Doom. And how he did it, unbelievable. What happens to Bruce Banner in this, I don't want to spoil. But let's just say, you would think with, man, I can't spoil it. See, the way I put it, I'll still spoil it. Bottom line is, guys, look, it was a good story, a nice, good story arc. First story arc for Jason Aaron's. Next to come, it looks like Betty is going to come cross paths with the Emerald Giant, the Hulk. But without spoiling too much, it was good. He's doing a very good job on this. I figured Mark Silverstone would not stay around too long on the book. He never does. But it was good nonetheless. Very good. I can't spoil this, guys, because there's some things in here that the way I'll still describe it and try to summarize it, it'll still spoil too much. Sorry. Invincible Iron Man number 515, Fraction La Roca. Best book Fraction is doing. Anybody want to argue with that? Be my guest. Yeah. That cover, as you see, don't believe the cover. Rhodey is not dead. but he does take a beating in this. Um, First, he's fighting the Melter, and then Whirlwind comes, and then he fights, and then Living Laser comes. Um, the Mandarin, Ezekiel Stain, and Justine Hammer have put their play into effect. And if this was a chess game, check and mate, because they took Tony out of the game. They've been able to deactivate his armor by putting, like, it's almost like a ankle monitor on his, his repulse, the thing in his chest. I forget what it's called. To keep him from using his Iron Man armor because of the fact of, him being drunk at one point. But he hasn't been drunk in a while. But the story was really good. It got really in depth when I thought Marvel was really going to kill off War Machine. I'm like, no, no, because they actually show Living Laser actually almost look like he delivers a final blow to Rhodey, and it's like, and then you see Pepper coming in her rescue armor, too late, and then Tony comes and he's like, he's Rhodey, buddy, come on, wake up, no, don't do this to me. He's like really upset, but unfortunately, he's not dead. I'm sorry, people, I gotta spoil it. He ain't dead, but Tony realizes that the Mandarin and them have set their plan in motion. Check and mate. They won this game, but it ain't over. So it was good. The next story arc, I think, is that story arc with the Iron Man No More story arc that Fraction is doing. Still the best book Fraction is writing. All right. The Punisher, number 10. This is part 2 of the Omega Effect. Greg Roca. So the unlikely team up between Spidey, Punisher, and the Man Without Fear himself, Daredevil, Double D, is still in effect. Boy, this got really good, really quick, really good, really fast. You could see on Frank's face, he wants to kill the members of AIM and the Hand and everybody that wants that Omega drive that Daredevil has, but he has to use rubber bullets. There is more of a in-depth, especially with Daredevil and the associate with Punisher in this, Rachel Coles, his partner in this. He's trying to tell her that, yeah, I know Spider-Man told me about what happened to your family at your wedding. They were gunned down. They were killed. Rachel Coles in this is pretty much like Beetle Kiddo from The Bride from Kill Bill, basically. And she's taking revenge on the Exchange, the mob, so to speak, for what they did to her husband and her entire family. But it's still been good. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this ends. It ends on a cliffhanger, which I don't want to spoil as well. It ends in the next Daredevil. But so far, this 3-part story was really good. It started in Avenging Spider-Man. It's picked up here, and it's going to end in next Daredevil. But Roca, please don't ever leave this book. Please. All right, next up, Rick Remender, 24 Years of Venom. Yeah, Venom number 16. Yeah, it's been 24 years, man. Venom's been around for 24 years. Rick Remender, don't ever leave this book. So it seems that Flash is playing, I guess you could say, chaperone to a villain he caught known as the Human Fly, as you can see right here. However, the Kingpin wants the Human Fly dead, so he sends the Hobgoblin to deal with that. So we get an in-depth battle between Flash and the Hobgoblin in this, which was really good. It was fun. The Hobgoblin even tries to sway Flash to, he says, my employer, the Kingpin, is willing to pay you to let me kill the Human Fly and things like that. Human Fly is begging Flash not to do it because he has a son and things like that. But it really was really good. The battle scenes in this was excellent. A straightforward, cutting-edge battle scene that really pushed the edge for Flash. Really did. Especially him and the symbiote. And got to remember, this is not Robert Kirkman Hobgoblin. This is Ben Urich's nephew. So he has that sonic scream, and that really played with the symbiote, of course, and his flame sword, of course. But yeah, it ends kind of bad for Flash because even though he kind of saves the day, he's able to save the day, but without spoiling too much, let's just say the prisoner gets away and leaves a message for him that was like, oh man, played to, the hero's good side. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we move on to Wolverine the X-Men number 9. Chris Baccio, yes, on the artwork. And Jason Aaron's. Okay. So basically all this is basically what it is. Avengers or X-Men. Choose a side must be chosen. This is basically Wolverine telling the faculty at at the Jean Grey school, the Phoenix is coming. Everything like that. A lot of the telepaths, like Rachel Summers, they know it's coming. Things like that. That's all this book really was. And we see Beast and Wolverine talking about, like, okay, Beast is going to go into space to try to intercept it. While, which we saw in round 2. We saw Thor leading a group of Avengers in space to kind of halt the Phoenix, and Beast is among them. We also get an in-depth of where Gladiator is. His son is on the planet Earth, and we know Phoenix is coming, and it's really getting good. It's picking up. But that's all this book was. But Aaron's still no slouch at it, no doubt. And I'm using that word slouch a lot. Thank you, mentor, for giving me that word. But yeah, it's true. He is no slouch. He really knows he's doing a fantastic job on this book. The next issue still ties into Avengers Vs X-Men, where Cyclops pays the school a visit. But yeah. Okay, and the last Marvel book, XFactor number 234, Peter David. Yeah. All right, so now pretty much everybody knows that Madrix, Multiple Man, is alive. He's alive, including Havoc and Lorna. They all know. However, Monette right here, M, is a little pissed off at Layla Miller. And she flies to the Empire State Building, and she just pretty much has it out with Layla. Is like, how are you doing this? You said you couldn't do this. Everything like that. But Layla pretty much explains to her what she can see. The whole I know everything, things like that. But yeah. But it also shows off what's to come for the X-Factor team. An old villain from the X-Factor is coming back, and he's coming back with a vengeance. Yeah. But it's good. Peter David still doing a good job. Alright, so we move on to the DC, and we'll kick it off with the first Batman, number 8, The Beginning, Night of the Owls begins. Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo. Alright. Yes, indeed, it is here. Wayne Manor is under siege by the Owls, the Court of the Owls. Yeah, indeed, baby. And Bruce and Alfred have to defend themselves a lot. Now, the thing about this is, this book is not completely all done by Greg Capullo. Half of it is done by another artist, but Bruce has to defend Wayne Manor. He has to defend and keep Alfred safe and everybody like that. And the owls just keep coming. They just keep coming. So what happens? Bruce is like, Alfred, send a call out to the family. Alfred sends a call out to everybody from the Bat family. You know, even people you wouldn't expect. But he's like, if anybody associated with the Bat family in Gotham talk about what the Court of Owls want, they got an assassin, a hit list for everybody. And Bat comes out in his bat suit. Like, I'm talking like the big, almost like bat armor, bat bot suit. And he's like, come on, let's do it. Man, this was really, really good. If I'm not mistaken, something happens to Alfred in this book. I'm not sure it did or not, but yeah, it did. It really, really was very, 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 very kind of shocking in a way. Like, oh no. Very much. But yeah, it's begin. Night of the Owls. Oh boy. Things are picking up. Alright. And we'll take it out of the present Batman and into the future. Batman Beyond Unlimited number 3. With an all-new Superman Beyond story. Alright, so there's like 3 stories in this book. J.T. Krull does the Superman Beyond story. And we started off from that book. Okay, start off with that story. That story basically shows that Superman he's still, in this future, he's still adjusting to the loss of people. You know, Lois, everybody like that. He sometimes even doesn't even recognize Metropolis now. You know, he realizes that almost to the point that Metropolis doesn't need him anymore because the police force now is almost like him. They're like this super police force, and he's looking like that. Oh my, like they don't really need me. So it kind of was out there, you know. It really was kind of hard to look at that. Like, wow, the Man of Steel, you know, and you know the fact that he's talking to Lois about how it's kind of hard for him to be Superman 24/7 now and things like that. And oh man, it was really good. We even got to see a gallery of his old costumes, you know, all his costumes, even his energy like costume when he was the Energy Superman. It was kind of cool. Okay, so that was done by J.T. Krull. Then Dustin Nugent took over for the Justice League Beyond story, and they're still dealing with Cobra and rescuing Amanda Waller and everything like that. And that was cool too. And then Adam Beecham finished it off with his Batman Beyond story of, you know, Mad Stan is taking his vengeance out on the man who used to supply him with all his weapons. But also more into that, Dana, who previously broke up with Terry, is really, she comes to him now with, she needs his help about her brother. But yeah, overall, the 3 stories in this was really good. Not bad at all. You know, very good. I really enjoyed it, especially the Superman Beyond one. That was really good. You can only imagine how Superman must feel about that. Like, sometimes feeling that he's not needed. He's being almost replaced by an entire police force and things like that. He doesn't really have too many people to talk to, like loved ones, people that he remember, his ma, pa, Lois, Perry White, you know, everybody like that. You know, and being that he has to be Superman 24/7, that really, I can see how that could play a lot with him. Birds of Prey, number 8. From Canary's past, assassins on a mission for revenge. Yeah. Dwayne Switzinski basically does a good job on this book. The birds are fighting a group of mercenaries or assassins that seem to have almost have done their homework on the birds. They know how to deal with them. Except for the only problem is Poison Ivy's not in this book. But the real story is, remember how it was said that Black Canary's on the run? Why she's a fugitive? Because she killed her husband. Well, in this book, spoiler alert, guys, she even admits it, that she's done it. I was like, whoa, like, are you serious, Diana? Like, you actually believe that you killed your... It was really bad. But a cop gave information to Starling about it, too. And, but it was good. The action in this was fantastic. Storytelling was good, too, but it really get more in-depth into, is Black Canary really a killer? Is she really a killer? Did she really kill her husband? Or is she being framed? But in her mind, she feels that she's done it. Alright. Blue Beetle, number 8. Time's not on your side when facing Stopwatch. Yeah, Stopwatch. A new villain, I guess, for Blue Beetle, Jaime. Jaime's still in New York. He's still running away. He ran away. He's living... He kind of is living in this halfway house for where runaways can stay. But it's kind of a front for the character here, Stopwatch. Stopwatch, we see what happened to him and how he was able to survive this accident that just was like, oh my damn, like, how are you still alive? Like, he's got shrapnel in his neck, it's sticking out, he got shrapnel pieces all in his torso, in his arms, and he's still alive. And Tony Bedard really kind of puzzled me in this book, but it was good though. But it's the ending that really got me, because somebody in here is building up to that story arc between the Blue Beetles and the Guardians, New Guardians. Yeah, basically, Jaime meets Kyle Rayner and some of the Guardians, basically the other New Guardians. Yeah. Okay. Green Lantern Corps, number 8. The Alpha War starts. Alright, first of all, DC. Again, this story is vague mostly on John Stewart. Again. Why? Why are you picking on him? Why are you guys picking on John Stewart so much? It it just puzzles me so much how much torment you are putting this man through. Bottom line is the Alpha Lanterns are out. And basically think of the Alpha Lanterns as the internal affairs of the Green Lantern Corps. And who have they come to get? John Stewart for murder. Once again, DC. Please give this guy some peace. Like, come on. Why are you picking on him? But other than that, there's more into it than that. Guy Gardner still can't understand why Sinestro is part of the Corps. And it seems that those blue-faced pricks seem to now realize that, they need to maybe promote Guy in a way. But yeah, it's mainly about John Stewart, man. DC, yo. So now he's your go-to guy to put misery on, right? That's your segue now, boy. All right. Number 8 of Justice League. Will Green Arrow join the Justice League? Jeff Johns. And of course the continuing of Shazam. All right. First, we'll kick it off with the Justice League story. All right. So the government talks to Trevor about how come the Justice League does not add any more members to their team. And they even give a little bit of notion. Trevor starts to say like they're a tight knit group, they're friends, yada yada yada. You know, they'll keep it that way. And his Trevor's assistant says just like you and just like just like Team 7. Yeah, Team 7. And he says Team 7 is classified. So it seems that Trevor William Trevor in this was a part of Team 7, the team that in the old 52 or so speak that Grifter was a part of. Anyway, we get to see that the team battles Amazo in this, and Green Arrow's there. Okay, let me. I have some problems with this book. This in terms of Green Arrow portraying this Johns. This was a very hit and a miss with Green Arrow. Green Arrow felt like a stalker in this book, like a real one of those crazy celebrity stalkers that you hear about in the news and stuff. Like he keeps like pushing himself to get the league to notice him so he can join the team. However, Aquaman is really against it, no matter what. And there's a story coming up soon where we kind of see why. But yeah, Green Arrow, Ollie was not portrayed well in this book, in my opinion. Not at all. He was portrayed as a stalker and things like that. But I really, really felt the best thing about it was the ending, especially. Well, let me finish. Other than that, we also, back on the Watchtower, I really felt once again another hit and miss with Batman. Like he's saying, like, when they're asking Superman's like, I think we should, bring in other members and thing like, and Batman says like it'll ruin our image. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what the hell does Batman care about images? You know what the fuck is that? Like, come on, Johns. Like, what are you doing? But really what got me was what Batman said after that. And let's not forget what happened the last time we invited somebody on the team and on this satellite. It didn't go well. Flip the page, and who are they fighting? Matter of fact, let me show you who they're fighting, if you don't mind. Flip to the panel, the last panel. Who's that they're fighting, people? Martian Manhunter. Yeah. They're fighting Jean. Now, my guess is, and then after that, he says to them, they're not prepared. So either, I would really want to know what happened with that story. That should have been a story, but yeah, I just felt like this was kind of bad, especially for Green Arrow. He felt like a stalker, a kiddie stalker, or one of those psycho stalkers. But once again, the Shazam story was really good. Billy comes to his new foster home, and he's there, and he meets, I guess, his foster brothers and sisters. Mary, Freddie Freeman, people like that, all part of them. But Billy kind of comes off as a douche in this. Like, he's like, listen, one thing for sure, I'm not your brother, I'm not this, leave me alone, yada, yada, yada. And he makes the youngest, Darla, of the foster kids cry. And Mary throws him into his room, was like, we all have our problems, but she has enough to cry about now. Why did you do that? It seems like you don't care about nobody but yourself. And, you know, Billy kind of starts to feel it at the end. He's like they know me. And he pulls out a picture, I guess, of his family, and along with a certain tiger on there. Okay, and he basically says, you know, I didn't mean to make her cry. So we see that there is this side to Billy, but he's shielding it. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of shielding it from everybody. You know, he's putting up this, I don't need nobody, you know, leave me alone. You know, this impenetrable shield that nobody can break through to really get to know the real Billy Batson. But yeah, it was good. That story was still been really good. Um, the Justice League story once again was kind of a hit and a miss in a way because of how Jeff Johns portrayed Green Arrow. But it seems that Green Arrow will be joining a team, but not this team. All right, and moving on to Nightwing number 8. This is a prelude to Night of the Owls. Kyle Higgins is on this. So at first we see uh, Dick trying to figure out who is setting him up for murder. He realized that there was a murder committed, and the murder was committed by using his sticks, his in Cremica sticks. I think that's what they call it. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But then he gets the call that I told you that happened in the first Batman, and he goes to protect the mayor from the Court of Owls, the Talons, and it was a very decent battle between the Talon and Dick Grayson, but it was at the end that really was like cliffhanger. But it was good nonetheless. Yeah, really good. Can't wait to see the next issue. All right, and Supergirl number 8. Michael Green, Mike Johnson, George Perez. Scream of the Silver Banshee. Yes, Silver Banshee's back. Yes, I'm sorry guys. I'm a big fan of Silver Banshee. I love her a lot, and they brought her back, but differently, very differently, and I gotta applaud DC for this. So the first part, it starts off with Kara was able to stop the World Breakers. She's exhausted. She's tired. Even her absorbing the sun's power that gives her powers is still taking its time, and she's being held up by gunpoint by the army, and they're like saying to her, put your hands up, everything like that. And since Kara can't speak English yet, she's still speaking in Kryptonian language. She can't really communicate. However, an Irish individual comes, yes, and says to people, stop, stop. She saved us, but this Irish individual female, well, I'll just call her SB because her name is Serbania. I forget that's her name. She can understand languages, and Kara kind of becomes pretty good friends with her, and they really get to know each other a little bit. She can communicate really well, and Kara's like, she starts to say, how do you know how to speak, Kryptonian? And she's like, I don't. I just can understand. I understand language. Like, there's pigeons that come by, and she speaks pigeon, and she's like, you can do that, and she's like, yeah, but we start to realize that there's more to this woman than meets the eye. She's running from her family and kind of the curse of her family, and she meets her father, the Black Banshee, and the ending we get to see. Who do you think on the cover right there? Yeah, it was good. It's really good to see Kara trying to lighten up. She's not in the costume actually. She was out of her costume. She was trying to mingle with everybody, but she can't speak. She still can't speak Earthling or English or so. But yeah, Silver Banshee's back, and I once again got to applaud DC for bringing her back with a little different twist to her. Very good. Very good. And last but not least, Wonder Woman #8. Yeah, look at that. Oh my God, Wonder Woman using guns. Yeah. Brian Azzarelli does a good job on this. I've been loving this book. I'm sorry, guys. I've been loving what they've been doing with Wonder Woman. Basically, Wonder Woman she's armoring up, thanks to Hephaestus, to go get Zola out of Hades, out of Tartarus, or from the clutches of Hades. And along with Hermes, she goes in there to get Zola. However, she realizes that there's some things that she has to make a bargain with the Lord of the Underworld. And I don't want to spoil that. And I don't want to spoil what happens to Wonder Woman in that. Something bad happens to Diana, and it left you with a like, almost, that's impossible. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was good. It was really good. And she did not use the guns, people. I'm telling you right now, she didn't use these guns that Hephaestus made. But it was good, nonetheless. To me, very good indeed. All right, guys. So that is it. All I have for you this week. Once again. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed. You guys tell me what you thought about this. As always, Sensei, this is a pleasure talking to you that Thursday. I loved it. As always, keep it real. As always, stay tuned. One love. Keep it real. As always. Yeah, I said that a couple of times, guys. Stay tuned. You guys take care.